I'll tell you a story about that. Hello, entrepreneurs. Happy, what's tonight? Monday? Tuesday?
I don't know. How about Thursday?
Happy Thursday evening, entrepreneurs. Yes, thank you. You can see where our heads are at. This is another Joe DeChara Presents, and I am introducing tonight Janet Ickes.
Ickes. Yep, you got it. It's all good. Okay, so we have crazy last names.
Yeah, so but there's mine is crazier than yours, and like I said, my daughter came home and informed me that we've been mispronouncing our last name.
You didn't know this, did you?
Well, I sort of know it, but we always just went with it. So anyway, thank you for joining us. There is a reason for all of this madness and chaos that's behind me. We are doing a big summit, a speaker summit next week, and Janet and I are our featured speakers. And I don't know about you, Janet, but I'm like, how did this come up so fast?
I thought we had at least another 2 months. Yeah.
Oh,
it just seems like it's here literally next week.
And it's going to be big, and it's being Haley Gray is putting it on through her WEN Facebook group. And what is, I should have the link and everything for this, but we'll get that up there. But anyway, so you are an expert. I've been on your site, and I found that we think alike. I think we use the same side of the brain, logic, but you came up with your theme, which I want to share. Like I put it, this is how I looked at it. Where'd all the money go?
Exactly. Right now, we don't know. Most people don't know what day of the week it is, let alone where money's going.
Exactly. So what is the exact title? Because it was funny.
Money doesn't spend itself. So where did it go?
Right. Money didn't spend itself.
Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit about, and this is what you're going to be presenting at the summit, right?
I am. I'm so excited to be able to join you, and thank you for this opportunity, because I'm just looking forward to collectively joining all the group, because this is going to be an amazing 3 days. We are going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be so much great information. And I just said, I guess our financial brains, we've connected, because my background, of course, is accounting. But what my passion is truly training. And that's always been kind of interesting. I always kind of joke around and say I'm a horrible little accountant because my box never has square corners. And a lot of that comes into figuring out the system. And it boils down to getting the right systems in place for the right person. And with all the chaos right now, we really need to know where money's going. And I know you would agree with that, especially, keeping the books. But when you're in this much chaos, it's really hard, and that seems to be what folks drop off. They might be really busy, and some folks, the essential folks, have money coming in. That's wonderful. The only drawback is they're busy, they forget their books, or they're just into a case right now that they just don't know where their money's going. And if you don't know, you're going to be in trouble.
So let's define more clearly who they are. Okay. Now, the summit is about starting an online business, right? That's what all these, and Haley put together an amazing set of experts. And I'm getting to interview all of you. So I'm getting, I'm like, give me the information before everybody else.
Perfect. Absolutely.
I want to learn what you have to offer. But so when you say they, obviously we're talking about
entrepreneurs,
small business owners. Yep. Are we talking about new business owners, existing business owners?
Well, this topic kind of goes across either way. So those that are intending, it's going to apply across the board. Because one thing, especially with knowing where your money's going, you've got to build a foundation. I always kind of look at it as a house. Here's your house. Here's your financial health. It's great. You can have walls on it. You can have the roof on it and everything else. But when those storms come, What do you build on? What is your foundation on? Is it sand or is it rock? And if you don't have that foundation built, and that's what I'm going to focus on. I want to focus on building a strong foundation. And especially if you're new, start that foundation up front. Get it under control and get your arms around that foundation so as you start building, as you start growing, as you start moving forward, your foundation will sustain you. Your foundation will weather these storms because they're going to happen. I mean, good gravy. We don't even know which day of the week it is right now. But if you have a strong foundation, you can withstand that and you can start actually being prepared for some of this chaos and take some of that stress out of there. And that's what I'm going to be sharing. I'm getting really excited about it because I just really enjoy, I want to see people successful, and you can't be successful if you don't have your foundation in place.
And you know, that's why, you know, we resonate because the name of my business is Bedrock Business Builders. And it's all about building the foundation. So you're preaching to the choir here. But, you know, we do similar things, but obviously we don't probably take the same approach. I use different tools. I'm doing people's tax returns. You know, I have a
They're all yours.
Objective. So one of the points I want to bring up, because this comes up in my group, because I'm a CPA, and other CPAs have said, "Oh, I'm a CPA too. You know, you don't want me in your group," and that is so far from the truth. And I'll tell you why. Because I will learn so much from you,
and vice versa.
Right, and because nobody knows everything. I don't care if it's bookkeeping, and I want to learn what your approaches are, because maybe you could give me something that I could add value to what I bring.
And supporting.
And that's Haley Gray's thing. You know, she's just like, let's just do business. Let's what is her thing? Help people get in business and stay in business.
And stay, exactly.
Right. So what you're talking about, so let me, so if you're one of these people, this is who this is targeted to. New business owners, correct?
Yep, that's what
if you're brand new, and what do you do? What is your approach with them?
Well, the first thing is we've got to figure out where the money's going. So how do you do that? How do you actually figure that out? And it's a crazy little word that most of us probably know is you've got to track it. And there's a bunch of tools that you can use to track. Okay, that's great, but which one's best for you? And you and I even had a conversation, like there is a boatload of tools out there. It can be as simple as pen and paper. It would drive me nuts, but it could be as simple as pen and paper. Or it could be up through, whether it's a spreadsheet, whether it's Waze, whether it's QuickBooks. The list goes on. And it all kind of depends on where you're at and what tool is going to be best for you, because I always have the exact same answer. What tool is best for you? The one you're going to use. It's the one you're going to use. Beyond that, it's irrelevant. So what I do is I help my clients figure out what is that best system. Let's get it working so that it's building that foundation so you can grow and it'll grow with you. Or you're to a point when you're ready to upgrade. I mean, because you may not need to jump into QuickBooks right away. You may need to. You may be okay with pen and paper. I'm not sure who would do that, but there are some people that are okay with pen and paper. I just can't go there. But if that's how we're going to work, you know what, and it works for you, we'll figure it out. But the systems are still in place, and that's where my specialty is. I don't want to do the books for you. That, you know, I will share those graciously with you. What I want to do is help that entrepreneur to understand where their money's going. And the only way you can do that is to start out by tracking it. Because once you start tracking it and you understand it, then you can start planning and you can start figuring things out, and then you can be proactive instead of reactive. And that's where you want to be in business. You don't want to be reacting all the time. Yes, there's times. You don't want that to be your daily life.
Right. And, you know, because I've studied success, I try to see what successful people do. And they all say, you got to know your numbers.
You do.
And but I'm an accountant. Of course I'm going to say that.
We like numbers. Most people don't.
It's not, well, if I tell people, if you like accounting and both, then become an accountant.
Exactly.
But don't be an entrepreneur and try to be an accountant. And that's what QuickBooks tried to make people. And that's where that failed. So I'm sorry.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. And that's where I found, and that's where I think I started doing the niche. And I have my puppy who wants to say hi.
Oh, cool. We invite puppies to.
I don't guarantee he doesn't pop up here. And being, 12 months and 80 pounds, I make no guarantee.
Wow.
But he's new to our family. We adopted him from the shelter. So he's been a lot of fun. But he
What's
doesn't
his name?
It is Bear.
Bear.
He is a German Shepherd. He's a black German Shepherd.
I love German Shepherds.
But he's brindled colored. So it's pretty cool. But he's had enough this storm. He's like, you need to play with me. But that's okay. But yeah, we were talking a little bit about QuickBooks. And I think too often, if you don't understand it, you can get yourself in trouble. And that's the need that I had seen with some folks that actually started out with it. So if QuickBooks is right for you, then let's make sure we get it set up right from you for the beginning. Let's get it, because there's a lot of nuances. And if you don't have at least some accounting background, which most entrepreneurs don't, you may be grabbing the wrong version. You may be getting more than what you need. And that's where I always love to have a conversation and say, what do you need? What do you want out of it? So maybe it's QuickBooks, maybe it's Waves, maybe it's a spreadsheet. We don't know. And what we got to do is those different tools and figure out what we can do. But you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. If you jump headstrong into QuickBooks, you can have a mess. I mean, I've cleaned up a lot of QuickBooks messes.
Listen, I've made a lot of money on QuickBooks messes. Yep. And, so this is, and just to point out the difference in our business model, see, I have my niche, and I have a client on here, he's part of my niche, and there's small businesses that will go on Wave. Very simple. I have my system. If you don't fit in my system, I would send, because I'm focused on that market.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going after my market, but you just want to talk to entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And help them get that system. And my focus is QuickBooks Online. So when they get to that level, I'm prepared to be, and I get a lot of people trained. I do a lot of training in QuickBooks Online.
And I think that this is part of, why so many people, so many businesses struggle, because they're brainwashed. They're like, I'm in business, I need QuickBooks. No. I
don't know. You may not.
Well, a lot of businesses do.
Correct. Many do not.
Especially startups.
Absolutely.
So what you're offering is, right, listen, before we pick the tool, let's see what we got here, right?
And then, as you pointed out, surround yourself with those that are successful in it. So if it's someone that needs Waves, you're the expert in there. If it's more QuickBooks Online, I mean, I know you can handle that as well. That's my expertise.
Yeah, honestly, I would rather hand them off to you because, I know QuickBooks Online. It's a step above Wave.
Sure.
But I'm not certified. I'm the Wave expert. I'm okay with that.
So you take Waves, I'll take QuickBooks, and we can offer these tools complimentary and get their foundation built. We have to help these guys to build that foundation. And that's what I'm excited about, is we want you to have a very strong foundation. It's the only way to keep financial success, is the only way. You got to get a paycheck. Otherwise, I'm not sure why you're in business.
Okay, so you start out with, you got to track it, obviously. And we do have some people watching live. Hi, Brian, and hello, Beth. Good to see you. I hope you can make the Saturday mastermind again. Yeah, hope you can make the Saturday mastermind again, Beth. We miss you. And if you have any questions for either of us, for Janet or for me, you can just post them in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, you could still post them there, and I will get the message, and I'll make sure Janet gets it, and we will answer all of your questions.
Absolutely.
So basically, it doesn't matter if you're a brand new business or you're an existing business, you're going to figure out what tools that they need.
And help give them, and I want them to be educated. So we're going to talk about what they need, then fit the tool to that need.
Okay, and also, just because I think that this segues perfectly into this. It's not just QuickBooks. You know, people think, oh, I'll just get QuickBooks and that'll take care of everything. It no, QuickBooks.
No.
You don't want QuickBooks. No. Your QuickBooks should be for your financials, right?
Just like Wave. Yeah, you need to have financials.
Yeah, and that's it for me. You know, business owners need a balance sheet and a P&L.
Exactly.
It's not brain surgery. But then
although it feels like it.
People, yeah, I'm sure it does. But then small businesses have other needs, and you are a Zoho specialist. And I don't know if everybody knows what Zoho is. I do. I've worked with it. It's a great platform.
It is.
You want to tell us how you use it?
Absolutely. Zoho is a CRM, which is otherwise known as a customer relationship management. It is a tool. We've got to keep track of our leads. We've got to keep track of our contacts. We've got to keep track of the tasks that are coming up and reaching back out to contacts. Because it is truly a numbers game. Whether it's true your numbers for QuickBooks or Waves, it's a numbers game also when it comes to people, because you've got to keep track of all of this. And as a business owner, you need some kind of a tool in place to be able to help track all these people you're meeting. I don't know about you, but if you meet a bunch of people, I'm going to have a hard time remembering who exactly was connected with what exact thing. And I made sticky notes everywhere originally, and I'm like, yeah, this is not working. I mixed the sticky notes, they'd be lost, you know. But Zoho allows me to go ahead and basically put all in one place. So you're going to be able to put all your leads in it, your contacts. You can assign a task to which in 2 weeks I need to follow up with Joe. Okay, I would put that in my database, which is basically Zoho, and I would have a task pop up onto my dashboard in 2 weeks that says, hey, call Joe. And the cool thing is, of course, it's right on your phone, so I can just click the little button and I get to call Joe. And it says, okay, would you like to log this call? Yes, I would. And you take the notes on the spot. No more sticky notes, no more jotting it down. Everything is in one place. It allows you to send emails. It allows you to send follow-ups. You can automate things. It all depends on what level you're at. But to at least get started, you need some type of a CRM. I chose Zoho because it scales with me, and that's what I liked about it.
Awesome. So, you know, you call it a CRM. I always called it a database. And then right. But so, and I'll tell you what the last thing I used it for, I had a client that had a body shop, and they had so many cars, they literally were losing cars. They didn't know where they were. So I just set up
That's not good.
No, I said, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, you got to know where the cars are. So I set up a simple database. Every car got a number, and you know, it worked. It was simple. And it was customizable. That was the
key. Yeah, right. And that's what I like about it is I could tweak it or customize it to meet my needs. I also am a Mary Kay consultant. I have been for the last 20 years. So my Zoho has actually got almost like a pink and blue section. The pink is my Mary Kay, and the blue is my Excel with me. And they join together. It's just one of those things, you know, kind of but it makes my life easier because all of my contacts are in one place. And my notes are there.
You're also, with your accounting background is you're able to look at what I call all the time the sequences of business. You know, everything, there's a beginning and an end to everything. And we lose track of all the details. That's what you were talking about. And it looks to me like you're able to link like the business's numbers with all the other operations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we've got to connect them. It's a big puzzle when you come right down to it. Welcome to the business world. It is a little bit of a big puzzle, and we've got to get all those pieces together, but those pieces all have to fit.
Right. And so you have I can't wait for the training. Now what exactly are you going to present at the summit?
We're going to focus on money management, and we're going to just focus there. You know, we'll mention Zoho, but that, you know, we're going to keep that pretty limited because I want that foundation built. So I really want to share and make sure that that is a real solid even though the CRM is a piece of it, and as I said, that'll kind of be mentioned into here, but I really want to focus on building that solid financial foundation, because that is the only way you can truly be successful long term. And let's start it off on the right foot. Let's start it off right at the beginning and figure out what tool is best so that you can go and you can move forward on that. And that's one of the classes that I actually work with as a master class, which is just talking about figuring out the truth about where your money's going, as well as starting to figure out a plan for this unexpected stuff that comes in. Because I always say it's really not unexpected, it's just inevitable.
Like the economy, like people get surprised. Oh, the economy went down. Well, it doesn't
Check
always.
history.
Right. Hello.
Up, down, up,
It goes
down.
up, so, it's sell high, buy low. I mean, why is it a surprise to people?
Yeah, now this has been a little bit craziness, but, at the same time, it's cyclical, and our job is to try to even that out. My husband's a coal truck driver for many years. We're in Pennsylvania, so, coming back, it was like feast or famine. I was a salaried employee. I got to work 60 hours and got paid 40, or, however it worked out. And it's like, okay, but, things went up and down, and that was one thing, evening that out and planning for that. We weren't affected when I had to come up with, filling our oil tanks up, with some ridiculous number like $2,400 for 3 oil tanks, or something. I wasn't panicked because I had the money set aside. I was just pulling $200 a month out. Crazy thing, planning ahead. Like, it made him nervous. He about flipped out when he saw the bill. I'm like, what are you worried about? He goes, but I am going to come up with that 1 month. Like, our minds just didn't think the same. We were raised differently. And it took a little bit to blend that, but we got there.
Well, funny you should say that, because I just talked to a friend of mine. We were talking about this disc thing and Myers-Briggs, and seriously, I was like, what? Why didn't somebody tell me about these personality things a long time ago?
Mary Kay taught me about that years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm actually very familiar with disc.
But okay, so maybe you could walk me through it after this. But I have a question. I'm fascinated with this, because really what you're talking about and what I do is like the least interesting thing that must be for a new entrepreneur.
They glaze over.
Oh,
the headlight looks.
I want to go into Zoho. I want to start getting sales. I want to start creating stuff. Now I got to start like looking at my numbers.
You mean I actually got to look at my numbers and track it? You mean I got to know my numbers?
So what? And I know it's a mindset. It's like, but is there any way to, like, for us to besides just saying, listen, what's that commercial? Like, you could pay me now or pay me later.
You nailed it.
At some point, you're going to figure out that you got to be organized, and when guys like my coach, Larry Bratton, he owns or operates hotels, and he just says, you got to have the systems, you got to have the procedures, you got to know your numbers, no matter how much that gets pounded into people.
But it doesn't always mean you have to do it yourself. Yeah, starting out you do, but surround yourself with support. Let the others take their strengths and blend it with your strengths. And just because if we get it put together, it doesn't mean as a business owner you can't work with somebody to maybe do the transactional piece, as long as the business owner understands it in a whole.
So do you think it's a fear thing, or is it, I
think they're out of their element, a lot of it. It's where I kind of see, and I think, meaning where I'm at, like, we each have strengths. Like, numbers come so easy to me. I am married to someone who's not numbers driven by any stretch. He just wants money in the account, let's go.
Right.
And so when we first got together, and we've been together 30 years, so I've been very blessed and just kind of working through this. But that example with the coal truck coming in and out, I knew that there were some expenses, and I knew, so at least and he worked with me, so I was grateful there. But to him, he could care less. If the money was in the account, he's going to spend it. And I think that's what, and especially as you're starting your business, it's so easy to see the money in the account and forget that you've already spent it because you have it on the credit card that you haven't paid yet. Little things like that. And if you're not looking at those numbers and you've lost the system, you've lost a series of steps to make sure you know where that's at, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, just like the example with my husband, if we would have had to come up with $2,400 in 1 month, that was not going to happen. Even with both of us working, that's not going to happen.
Right.
But if you're willing, but even that, he was not raised that. I was very blessed. My dad was a stickler. Even when I wanted to get my own car, I had to give him a budget. But and I don't think if that's not your strength, you're just not sure what you don't know, and you don't even know what questions to ask. And I see that being a lot of frustration. And when you're frustrated and you're confused, what do? Nothing.
Right. Exactly.
None does nothing.
Exactly. And go on.
No, and that's where I think we can help with that, is to figure out and get that system of whatever it ends up being, so that that foundation's there, and get them as unconfused, because this is how you need to do it. We can share with them, if you do A, B, C, and D, this is where you want to be. We can get there, but you got to do A, B, and C, and I'll help you with D, or whatever it ends up being. And that's the systems that we have to put in place.
And once it's in there, it's like, oh, is that all I want?
Yep. So back to strengths. They can go out and sell and do what their strength is, and we can help them to actually build that system up and have it so that they can get where they want to go. Because unfortunately, it takes all of it.
It does. It takes a team. It really does. And the more I learn about these personality things, and honestly, I thought that stuff belonged in big businesses. I'm a solo-preneur. No, it's about who we are, how we act, and we're not going to change it. It's like a core.
Exactly. You're a high C. You're a high C, which basically means you're in the details, and you like details. Most accountants like details. Oh, there he is. There. Bear's saying hi.
Oh, hi. Hey, doggy. And I'm going to take the test to see, because I'm not going to assume. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do.
Interesting. I was down the middle.
Really?
I'm an odd duck. I was pretty much told that I didn't do it right.
So
I am like equally split, which is very abnormal, which fits into me. I'm a little abnormal.
I know a lot of abnormal people. They're very successful, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see where you land. We're going to have a talk about that afterwards.
Well, I'm thinking you're describing your husband. I'm like, yeah, when I see money in because I'm no different than anyone. I see money in the account, I'm like, what can I spend that on?
Yep. Oh,
and then the accounting part of me is, I'm looking at my budget. I'm like,
yeah.
That I still want to, that's my, whatever you call it.
Brian said it. You don't know what you don't know. That's a good point. I finally figured out how to get through here. You don't know what you don't know. Thank you, Brian, for bringing that back up. That's absolutely true.
Yes, exactly. And that's what gets small business owners in trouble. And if you think about it, if you look at the sequence, when somebody goes into business, they usually don't know people like us.
No.
They don't know how to get to us and get this information. And they're asking their uncle or whatever. And listen, I did that. Listen,
we all do.
We all do it. But once you find those pieces, and the numbers there's no way around it, folks.
There isn't. If you want to be in business any length of time, you might be able to fudge it for a little while. But if you're going to be length of time and duration and make this a reflection of what it should be, you're in business to be able to make money. You're in business to have a paycheck. But you can't sustain that if you don't have the systems in place.
Right. And what I like to do, and tell me what you think. I look at the results. Well, okay, if these are the results, what are the steps that brought you here? Because there was some kind of sequence.
A to B to C to D to F, back to C. Where you at?
And what you offer really is clarity.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like, listen, okay, we know where we are, but now we got to figure out, how did we get here? And that's what the numbers tell us, right?
Yes, they sure do. And it tells us where we can go too, and it tells us what we are aiming for. I always like to use an example. So often you might be aiming at the dartboard just make sure if you don't have your numbers, that dartboard might be behind you. That pretty much sums it up.
Like ready, shoot, aim.
Yep, exactly. And then you realize it's behind you and you had no idea.
So, okay, so how do, I don't have the link for the event, but how do people connect with you? Because I know you have some other things going on you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always reach out through my website, which is excelwithme123.com. And you can connect directly there and take an opportunity. And I invite anyone who would be interested to go ahead and book a virtual coffee. I do virtual coffees, and basically it's a chance to kind of get to do. I also offer 5 tips to maximize your profits. You are more than welcome to take advantage of that. You just click there and it's a download for you. And just kind of gets you thinking about putting the steps in place and what steps you need to go, and just some tips to make sure you are maximizing profit. Just because you're bringing in revenue doesn't mean you have profits. And without profits, you don't have a paycheck.
Yes. And that is, and I think I just put the link. Yeah.
Yep, you got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So there's the link to that.
Yeah,
And
I encourage them to take a look at it, download it, and let me know your comments. Book that virtual coffee with me after you've got a chance to take a look at it, because I'd love to, kind of chat a little bit about it and see if we can't get you a direction to move forward. And hopefully they join us next week on the summit where we get a chance to really offer them some tools.
Yeah, I wish, I'm mad at myself. I didn't have the summit link up here, but I'm going to get it up there. I'll put the summit link in the chat right after this. And any parting words of wisdom, Janet?
I just want to encourage everyone that you want to work smarter, not harder. And you can do that if you have the right systems in place, because I'm all about, helping people to excel, because I want to inspire and ignite the possibilities that are there for them. So I just encourage you to take advantage of the tools and the resources from the summit, from just various. Joe, you're a great and phenomenal support structure. And I'm just blessed that we have had the opportunity to kind of connect and be able to complement one another.
Oh, yeah.
We have very different views that have very complementary views as well.
Absolutely. You're my Zoho go-to.
Perfect. And you would have the ways. So we're good.
Awesome. This is going to be a great summit. So
Absolutely.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you.
That's our story. We're sticking with it.
That's right. It is what it is. We're going to keep it.
We will see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Take care.